If your hemorrhoids have been more painful lately, if the pressure feels stronger, or if the swelling seems to return even when you think you're doing everything right, the real cause might be happening long before you ever sit down to use the bathroom. Poor circulation is one of the most overlooked factors behind worsening hemorrhoids. It doesn't call attention to itself at first. It doesn't arrive with sharp pain or sudden discomfort. Instead, it spreads quietly through the body, leaving subtle clues in places you would never think to connect with anal swelling, vein pressure, or inflammation. Hemorrhoids are, at their core, swollen veins. And veins don't exist in isolamento. They depend on a healthy, steady circulation to keep blood moving upward against gravity. When that flow slows down, when the return of blood becomes sluggish, pressure begins to build in the lower parts of the body. And every bit of that pressure eventually reaches the hemorrhoidal veins. Before the pain shows up during a bowel movement, before the burning or swelling begins, the body sends signals that the circulation is weakening. Most people ignore them, but they are the earliest warnings that hemorrhoids are about to get worse. The first sign appears in a place most people never connect to hemorrhoids: the feet. When your feet or ankles begin to swell at the end of the day, when you notice your shoes feeling tighter or the marks of your socks lingering much longer than they should, this is not just a simple retention of fluid. This is one of the clearest indicators that the blood is not returning efficiently toward the heart. Gravity pulls it downward, circulation becomes slower, and blood starts to accumulate in the lowest parts of your body. That same sluggish return is exactly what happens inside the rectal veins. The swelling in your feet mirrors the swelling happening in your hemorrhoids. When your feet feel heavy, when your skin stretches slightly around the ankles, when you sense that the lower part of your body is holding on to more fluid than it should, your circulatory system is already struggling. And that struggle doesn't stay in the feet. It moves through your entire venous system, eventually reaching the veins in the anal region. The more blood that pools, the more pressure those delicate structures endure, and the more inflamed and painful your hemorrhoids become. Understanding this first sign is the first step toward understanding why hemorrhoids worsen even outside the bathroom, even when your digestion is normal, and even when you haven't changed your routine. Your body has been speaking long before the pain appeared. In the next minutes, you'll discover the remaining signs, each one revealing how poor circulation silently builds pressure until hemorrhoids can no longer cope. After that first warning in the feet, the body often reveals the second sign through a sensation many people brush off as simple tiredness. It appears in the legs, a heaviness that shouldn't be there, especially on days when you didn't walk much or make any extra effort. It's that deep, dragging weight that settles in your thighs or calves, as if moving your legs takes more energy than it should. This heaviness is not a muscle issue, it's a circulation issue. When blood struggles to move upward against gravity, it lingers longer in the lower limbs, making them feel slow, heavy, and congested. And if the blood can't return well from the legs, it certainly won't return well from the veins surrounding the rectum. The same sluggishness you feel in your legs is the same sluggishness your hemorrhoidal veins are experiencing, building pressure that will eventually show up as swelling, pain, or burning during a bowel movement. Following that heaviness, the third sign appears in the form of tingling or numbness that comes and goes throughout the day. Sometimes it feels like tiny electrical pulses running down your leg. Other times it's a mild, annoying numbness that makes your skin feel disconnected from the rest of your body. Many people assume it's just a nerve issue, but nerves rely on circulation to stay healthy. When blood flow slows, nerves receive less oxygen, and they react with those strange sensations. Tingling and numbness are the body's way of saying that blood is not reaching the tissues with the force and consistency they need. And every time circulation weakens in the legs, it reflects the same weakness occurring internally, including in the hemorrhoidal plexus. Poor circulation doesn't happen in one area alone, it happens everywhere, and the veins in the rectal region feel the consequences just as intensely as the nerves in your legs. Then comes the fourth sign, one that is visible and often dismissed: veins that become more noticeable or more prominent in the legs. You might notice lines that weren't there before, small blue pathways under the skin, or veins that seem to swell slightly by the end of the day. These changes are not random. They mean the veins are working harder to carry blood that is not moving with enough rhythm. They stretch under the pressure, and this stretching is exactly what also happens inside the rectal veins. Hemorrhoids, remember, are veins, and when the venous system as a whole begins to struggle, hemorrhoidal veins behave just like the ones in your legs. They dilate, they swell, they hold more blood than they should, and they begin to hurt. These early signs, the heaviness, the tingling, the visible veins, form the beginning of a story the body is telling you. Circulation is slowing, blood is pooling, and pressure is building. And while you see these signs externally, the same pressure is growing silently inside the anal region, setting the stage for worsening hemorrhoids. Soon, we'll go even deeper, because the next signs reveal even more about how circulation fails, and why hemorrhoids flare up even when your bowel habits seem normal. As circulation continues to weaken, the body begins to reveal signs that feel colder, quieter, and even more subtle, but they are just as meaningful. The fifth sign shows up as a persistent chill in your feet, even when the rest of your body feels perfectly warm. It's that familiar coldness that seems to cling to your toes, a feeling that doesn't completely go away no matter how comfortable the room is. Cold feet happen when blood simply isn't reaching the extremities with enough strength. And if the blood struggles to travel downward, imagine how difficult it becomes for it to return upward. This weak return flow creates a slow, heavy backup in the veins, and that backup eventually presses directly into the hemorrhoidal veins. Every moment your feet feel colder than they should is a moment that poor circulation is signaling its presence, and your hemorrhoids feel that same slowdown through increased pressure and inflammation. Not long after that cold sensation becomes familiar, another sign begins to appear. The sixth sign. It arrives suddenly, usually when you least expect it. A sharp, tight cramp that seizes your leg at night. Nighttime cramps are one of the clearest indicators that your muscles aren't receiving enough oxygen and nutrients from the bloodstream. When circulation slows, muscles react with forceful involuntary contractions that wake you up with pain. And the connection to hemorrhoids may not seem obvious at first, but it follows the same logic. When the blood struggles to deliver oxygen to your legs, it also struggles to carry blood away from the anal region. The same stagnant flow that causes a cramp causes hemorrhoids to swell. The bloodstream becomes a slow-moving river, and everything downstream suffers, including the veins that are already sensitive and inflamed. Then the seventh sign reveals itself quietly, often noticed only when you take a closer look at your skin. A change in color. Sometimes it's a paleness that makes the skin look less warm and vibrant. Other times, it's a faint purplish tone, especially around the feet or ankles. These color changes are not about temperature or bruising. They are about oxygen. When the blood moves too slowly, it doesn't oxygenate the tissues with the force it should. Pale skin means the blood isn't arriving well. A bluish tint means the blood is arriving but not leaving properly. Both paint the same picture. Circulation is failing to maintain balance, and while the change in skin tone shows up on the outside, the same imbalance is happening internally. The hemorrhoidal veins are experiencing the exact same oxygen deprivation and stagnation, becoming swollen, irritated, and increasingly unable to handle the daily pressure of bowel movements. These signs, the coldness, the cramps, the subtle changes in skin tone, are the body whispering that its circulation is struggling. They are clues that blood is moving too slowly, pooling in places where it shouldn't, and building up pressure inside veins that were never meant to hold so much. And each one of these changes directly contributes to the worsening of hemorrhoids, even before pain or swelling becomes noticeable. In the next section, we'll explore signs that become even more direct, the ones you feel when sitting, moving, or simply going through your day. As circulation weakens even further, the signals the body sends become more noticeable during your daily routine. The eighth sign often appears when you're sitting, something so simple yet so revealing. After a short time in the same position, a tingling or numbing sensation begins to develop in your legs or lower body, almost as if the nerves are being gently pressed or the blood flow is quietly fading. It may start as a mild discomfort, but it grows into that familiar pins and needles feeling that forces you to shift your weight or stand up. This isn't just the effect of posture, it's a sign that the veins are becoming compressed and struggling to keep blood moving upward. And when circulation slows while you're seated, the same slowdown affects the hemorrhoidal veins. Every second that blood pools in the lower body is another second that pressure increases in the rectal area, creating the perfect conditions for hemorrhoids to swell and flare. As that sensation becomes more frequent, the ninth sign may begin revealing itself more visibly, varicose veins or painful spider veins starting to form in the legs. These veins aren't just cosmetic concerns, they are physical evidence that the venous system is under strain. When blood cannot move efficiently, the veins expand to hold more volume, stretching and weakening over time. And while you see this happening on the surface of your skin, the same process is unfolding deep inside the body. Hemorrhoids are simply internal varicose veins located in one of the most sensitive areas of the body. When your leg veins begin to struggle with pressure and swelling, your hemorrhoids are experiencing that same struggle, only hidden from view. Every varicose vein is a silent mirror of the pressure building in the rectal veins. Then comes the 10th sign, one that many people overlook because it feels unrelated at first. A recurring, low-grade abdominal bloating, as if the stomach and intestines are holding on to more pressure than usual. This bloating can come and go, sometimes worsening after meals, sometimes appearing at the end of the day, and sometimes showing up without any clear pattern, but its connection to circulation is direct. Poor blood flow affects digestion, slowing the movement of fluids and reducing the efficiency of the intestinal muscles. This creates internal pressure, fluid retention, and mild congestion inside the abdomen. And that internal pressure doesn't stay isolated. It pushes downward, pressing against the pelvic floor and increasing the pressure on the rectal veins. Every moment of bloating is another moment of force being applied exactly where hemorrhoids are already struggling. This trio of signs, the tingling when sitting, the varicose veins, and the abdominal bloating, forms a clear message from your body. They show how circulation problems don't just affect your comfort, they shape the environment inside your abdomen and pelvis, influencing the swelling, pain, and sensitivity of your hemorrhoids. Poor circulation creates a chain reaction that moves from your legs to your abdomen and finally settles where it hurts the most. In the next section, we'll dive into the final signals, the ones that directly involve the pelvic region and show unmistakably that poor circulation is making your hemorrhoids worse. As poor circulation becomes more advanced, the signs begin to shift closer to the area where hemorrhoids actually form. The 11th sign appears as a subtle but persistent sense of pelvic pressure, a heaviness that seems to settle deep within the lower abdomen or the base of the pelvis. It's not the sharp pain of a muscle strain or the cramp of indigestion. It's a slow internal weight that feels out of place. This sensation is caused by blood pooling in the pelvic veins, creating a subtle but constant congestion that the body can no longer ignore. When circulation slows, the veins in the pelvis become the next point of resistance, and the blood begins to collect in an area designed to stay balanced and lightly pressurized, not overloaded. The hemorrhoidal veins lie directly within this region. So when pelvic pressure rises, the rectal veins bear that weight immediately. This creates a baseline inflammation, a quiet swelling that builds throughout the day and leaves the region more tense, sensitive, and prone to flare-ups even before you go to the bathroom. And then comes the 12th sign, the most revealing and unmistakable indicator that poor circulation is actively making your hemorrhoids worse. It appears as a sense of anal pressure or fullness, even when you're not using the bathroom. It might be a pulsing feeling, a warm congestion, or a subtle swelling that doesn't completely go away. Some people describe it as the feeling of something being there when they know nothing is. This is venous congestion at its peak. It means blood is not just moving slowly, it's staying trapped in the hemorrhoidal veins, causing them to swell continuously. When this pressure becomes constant, not just during bowel movements but throughout the day, it signals that circulation is no longer supporting the veins in that region. Instead, it's overloading them. This final sign ties everything together. The swelling in the feet, the heaviness in the legs, the tingling, the visible veins, the cold extremities, the cramps, the skin color changes, the numbness when sitting, the varicose veins, the abdominal pressure, and the pelvic congestion all lead to this same point: a circulatory system that is struggling and hemorrhoidal veins that are paying the price. Poor circulation doesn't simply coexist with hemorrhoids, it fuels them, it shapes them, it worsens them. And this 12th sign is the body's clearest way of saying that the problem is no longer isolated to digestion or bowel movements. It is a systemic issue that is now concentrated in the most vulnerable part of the venous system. In the final part of this video, you'll see how all 12 signs connect, forming a single mechanism that explains exactly why hemorrhoids worsen, and how improving circulation can finally give your body the relief it has been fighting for. When you step back and look at all 12 signs together, a clear pattern emerges. None of these symptoms, the swelling, the heaviness, the tingling, the visible veins, the cold feet, the nighttime cramps, the changes in skin color, the numbness when sitting, the varicose veins, the abdominal pressure, the pelvic heaviness, and the constant anal fullness, exist in isolation. They are all expressions of the same underlying problem. Blood is struggling to circulate through your body with the strength and rhythm it needs. And every moment the circulation slows. Every moment the veins hold more blood than they should. Every moment the pressure builds in the lower body. The hemorrhoidal veins are directly affected. Hemorrhoids are not random. They don't flare for no reason. They are the final point in a chain reaction that begins the moment circulation begins to fail. When blood flow becomes sluggish, the lower part of the body becomes a reservoir. Fluid settles, veins expand, tissues swell, and the pressure that builds internally creates the perfect storm for hemorrhoids to worsen. And long before the pain shows up during a bowel movement, the body has been giving you signals, quiet, subtle, persistent signs that something deeper is happening inside. Understanding these signs is more than knowledge. It is empowerment. It gives you the ability to recognize when your body is struggling, long before the discomfort becomes unbearable. It shows you that hemorrhoids are not just a digestive issue, not just a bathroom problem, not just a matter of strain or diet. They are deeply connected to the health of your circulation. And when circulation improves, everything downstream improves too. When your blood begins to flow more freely, your feet stop swelling, your legs feel lighter, the tingling fades, the veins become less pronounced, the cramps lessen, the skin regains color, the bloating decreases, the pelvis feels less pressured, and the rectal veins, the ones that have been stretched, overloaded, and inflamed, finally have space to recover. They shrink, they calm, they stop pulsating with congestion, and the pain that once ruled your mornings, your evenings, or your bathroom routine begins to fade. At Relief Health, we believe that true healing begins when you understand the deeper signals your body sends. If this video helped you recognize these early warnings, if it helped you see the connection between poor circulation and worsening hemorrhoids, then you're already one step closer to relief. And if you want more videos like this, filled with clear explanations, natural strategies, and medically grounded insights, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Every week, we bring you content designed to help your body heal with clarity, confidence, and calm. Remember this simple truth. When circulation improves, pressure decreases. And when pressure decreases, hemorrhoids finally have the chance to heal. Your body knows how to recover. Sometimes it just needs you to listen to what it has been trying to say all along.